Thank you. I appreciate talking last because I too am not I get to be an anxious public speaker, but also I think it was really cool to hear JP and Gita's presentations because I think with the center, we're trying to create the touch points that overlay the conversation around value-added product development and also the needs of the entrepreneur or processor. So I'm going to share my screen because I really want to spend this time through this presentation to talk about the center and also kind of demystify or provide some general context because I know it's been kind of in the collective conversation for a while. I've been in this role for a little over a year, but I know this project has been in the works for many more before that. So yeah, I just really wanted to use this opportunity, especially as construction is nearly complete and we're going to be soon opening to users and the public to really just kind of level set what it is and what we'll do. It's always, the slideshow button's always like tucked away on the side. Hold on. And then of course my Zoom bar is in the way. Give me 1 second, folks. All right. Can everyone see that?
Yeah,
we're good.
Looks good.
Okay, great. Okay, so as I mentioned, I'm the manager of the Waihewa Value Added Product Development Center. It is a project collaboration between Leeward Community College and the state of Hawaii. It's a 33,000 square foot processing facility with on-site client services that include product development and some lean commercialization support. You can see out in this photo, this is an outside rendering of the center. It is in Waihewa, Central Oahu. This is along California Avenue, which is a main thoroughfare in Waihewa town, right across from the district park. So we're pretty close as far as the building looking like that. So it's pretty accurate. When the scaffolding comes down, users will be able to walk up to the center. You can see this beautiful lanai, and then we'll, in the next couple of slides, see some of the features of the center. It's really meant to engage and inspire a larger conversation around capacity building and opportunity for the community, for entrepreneurs, for students, for farmers, around how can we collectively build up more agribusiness, more value-added products to build economic opportunity and resiliency in our food system. So this is one of the hubs that will have infrastructure, have equipment, have expertise to really level up the future generation of ag-based value-added products. A little bit about me. I am born and raised in West Oahu. My mom immigrated from Thailand at a very young age and fell into food entrepreneurship as a means to create a life for her. So I think that definitely informed the work I do. I relocated to Portland, Oregon about 12 years ago because for many reasons, but I think mostly I wanted to explore value-added entrepreneurship and I struggled to find the infrastructure and the resources myself. So yeah, I ended up going to Portland where they have a really strong food community with access to infrastructure and resources. And in that time, I worked in product and process development with Oregon State University, and then community economic development with the city of Portland to support value-added entrepreneurs from historically underrepresented communities. I'm also a recovering chef, and I'm a serial value-added entrepreneur. You can see in that bottom photo, that's a line of products I did with a local grocery store under their private label line. And then I have been back since late 2022. I've been humbled to be invited back to lead this effort. I think it's an incredible opportunity. If infrastructure like that was in place, when I was making the decision to move, I might have changed my mind. So I'm really excited to be a part of this bigger ecosystem. Some quick facts about the center. I mentioned it's 33,000 square feet of total facility. You can see the overview where it's placed in Waihewa town and also the general layout of the building. Around 12,000 square feet of it will be production floor space, which includes 5 kitchen labs, more than 700 square feet of cold storage on site. So it's actually a small amount of cold storage. I think we're looking toward the future, knowing that we're trying to lower barriers for as many users, students, and entrepreneurs as possible. We know that cold storage is a major need. And like I mentioned, it is in Wahiawa, so central Oahu. So strong access to farmers and growers in central Oahu and North Shore. The history of Wahiawa has definitely been influenced by food processing and the ag industry. So I think it's a very appropriate place to have a center like this. Here's some photos taken as recently as a couple weeks ago of the facility. And I think there's some folks in this call that might have toured the center early on when it was a shell of what it is now. A little history behind the center. It actually, the building itself was it was a warehouse for a hardware company and then tomorrow's supermarkets. And in that time, it took on a lot of different forms, but it was always recognized in the community by the outer shell. And so it was part of the design process to actually keep the shell. So essentially gutted out. There was some construction added onto it, but for the community, it's still resonant as far as that building. So it still feels very much part of Wahiawa Town, but just leveled up in so many different ways. So you can see here, uh, two of our kitchen spaces here. We have wet kitchens and dry kitchens. Wet kitchens have the hood system you can see on the left, and it's going to host equipment including deck ovens, pizza ovens, kettles, even fryers and woks for some product testing, product development of different items. And on the dry kitchen side, there are no hood systems. We're going to have mixers and other extruders and processors, robocos. We have a great deal of community space for classes and seminars and showcases and even farmers markets. We're talking with a local organization in Wahiawa Town to actually host an incubator farmers market because we recognize that a strong focus of this project is product development and the kind of the science and the technical component of it. But we also want to establish a legacy brand when we talk about the bigger component of sustaining and growing Hawaii's value-added economy. We recognize marketplace access is something we really want to commit our energy and effort to as well. So you see on the left here, we have a huge first floor event loft space. And actually in the back in that cutout, we actually have a media kitchen with AV capability. So we can do everything from have makers be able to demo their product and actually broadcast it through our system online, to host a farmer's market and have a company do a live demo. On the right, we have a small second floor area. It used to actually be the warehouse's office for their managers and workers. So we're turning it into an open floor mezzanine to encourage co-working. We're going to bring in organizational partners that may offer everything from business development services to one-off industry certification seminars. So it's more of an intimate space. It's also, I think, a great asset to have because I think for a lot of entrepreneurs, getting dedicated space to be able to work on their business and not in their business is a huge value. Yeah, a lot of our students and entrepreneurs, they might have to rely on going to a Starbucks where it's loud, it's noisy. So imagine a case use where someone starts in a kitchen lab, spends a half the day there, and then just walks upstairs to go be able to work on their business. That's kind of what we're envisioning with this mezzanine. So it's going to be completely open floor, modular. There's going to be chairs, desks, tables that can all be modified based on the use. We have two packaging rooms. Something that's come up in the conversation frequently with our prospective users is just how much of a bottleneck the packaging process is. One thing to make their product, but a lot of our prospective users are hand filling or hand crimping. We're going to host all the equipment on site to be able to really speed that process up. So hopefully as companies scale out of our center, they're able to realize those economies of scale and ultimately get a product that could be on the pathway to price competitiveness. So we're going to have filling machines, bottling lines, impulse sealers, band sealers, all sorts of pieces of equipment, which is really exciting. And then probably the most exciting, unique feature of the center is we'll have a high pressure processing machine on site for product development purposes and some lean commercialization. We have a hyperbaric 55, so really more of a pilot model. It's going to really be a key component to our product development services. So it's a non-thermal form of processing. relies on pressure rather than heat or chemical. Um, Basically, it's ideal for a product like a cold pressed juice or someone doing like a breadfruit hummus or a guacamole. So we're really excited to turn that on when we open our doors. We have a large loading dock area. So we're really just trying to encourage the alignment between our maker community and ag community. So we have a large loading dock to be able to receive product coming from a farm or coming from whatever source, really. And the flow of the space will encourage folks to be able to back their truck up to the center, unload, and be able to roll it through a unboxed room where produce or ingredient can start, getting washed and start the process of being transformed on site. Our current timeline, it's been very fluid. Yeah, I think we are susceptible to a lot of the slowdowns and bottlenecks when it comes to construction, especially of a project with this many layers. We are targeting the beginning of January for completion from the contractor. At that point, we enter our post-construction phase where our staff's going to move in. We'll be doing training of all the equipment, including HPP. Facility SOPs will be established. We're going to be working on getting our inspection and then hosting a soft launch blessing on site. And then we'll enter, February, March. We're going to go into that soft launch phase where some of the companies we've engaged in non-credit programs across 2023, and I'll talk a little bit more about that later, will start getting access to the center. And this will allow us to be able to test systems, which includes equipment, but also onboarding and invoicing, test fee for service, to be able to, start greasing the wheels. And we're going to start offering product development consultation. And then we'll be doing other programs for the community, such as, we have a value-added workshop series being queued up for when the center opens. And then come end of Q1, we're going to enter the full launch phase where we start opening up to the larger community of users, including industry, including more folks from our student community and also the ag community. So everything is moving forward and moving fast. So we're really excited and eager. Just an overview of some of the unique features and design features of the center. I mentioned the 12,000 square feet of production kitchen space, the HPP. We're going to have a whole host of equipment, again, to help users realize those efficiencies, going all the way from cooking to packaging. A lot of the entrepreneurs we worked with so far, they're still at that cottage level. I mean, this is really meant to be an incubator. And I'll talk more about one of the pathways through our center for the micro entrepreneur early stage company. But it's really meant to help them go from, doing it at home or doing it in a shared commissary to that next level. Because the bigger overarching goal is to create a statewide food innovation network that will really gear those companies up for export capability if that's the path they want to go. Again, here's some of the equipment we'll have on site. I mentioned like ovens, dehydrators, vacuum pack machines. This will be all accessible to users with proper training from staff. We're going to have trained staff that specialize not only in product development, but facilities use as well. You can see down there different forms of processing, capabilities we'll have, blanching, processing, juicing, crushing, extrusion, canning, bottling. Overview of staff. Currently working to hire up in advance of opening. It's been really interesting. I think, some of these positions are really kind of unique to the university system and have taken time to kind of get out there on the open market. But we're slowly bringing on staff. I sit in that manager role. We have an operations coordinator that has a background in food science and sensory. Actually, she's a CTAHR grad herself. We are hiring out the facilities manager. We're going to have some marketing support that will really allow us to amplify our users, be able to promote some of those success stories. We have a posting out for product development manager. I would love to share with the group the posting. It closes on the 15th of this month. We're hiring an IT specialist that can support on the audio visual side. And then long-term, we're going to be building out a sensory lab on site. And then we'll hire 2 food techs as capacity dictates under the product development manager. So you can see here's an overview of what we'll have on site and our kind of core competency. The focus, being under UH and specifically Leeward is education. And as such, we're trying to create as many different pipelines into the center with this theme of education. So we are working to build pathways that range from single day seminars all the way to 12-week programs, right? So we kind of put it in these buckets. We'll have standalone seminars or workshops. Workshops are more interactive that might tie to a specific value-added category, say like sauces or pickles. We're going to be building a channel for industry certifications through the site, including HACCP and Better Process Control School and Serve Safe. We're working on professional development in the form of these more extensive programs we've done, including Ina Makeke and then Pathway to Value-Add Development, which I'll talk more about in a few slides. And then through product development services, we'll be offering that specialized one-on-one consulting that's really going to be tailored to the use case. So that's where someone that needs a new product development or their existing product to be remastered can tap in. If they want to explore what does it look like to take my product and reduce the sugar content or make a gluten-free, compatible product, this is where they will plug in. So programs, I referenced Ina Makeke on a few occasions in this presentation. We're really building it to be the flagship of our non-credit programming. And so Ina, means land, and Makeke, market or shelf. So it's basically a comprehensive 12-week program that touches not only just in product development, but really the whole wraparound to getting a product from that idea or that early stage to retail ready. So it's all offered online with the exception of a couple of sessions at the end, but it covers a whole host of topics, everything from costing to licensing to intro to product development and working in the kitchen space, distribution. So this is a key program for our entrepreneur community. They may be starting their journey in having a recipe that they have at their food truck or a restaurant, or maybe they're selling their product at a couple of farmers markets, but they really want to scale into that retail level. They want to get into stores. They want to build wholesale accounts. This is a defined pathway to do that. It was actually modeled after something that I was part of in Portland under their CCs, really to be a bridge for free biz companies to take a product, develop a retail-ready prototype, and have a buyer, a grocery buyer, ready to bring on their product and test it at the store level. So to date, we've worked with 30 local value-added entrepreneurs across 2 cohorts, 15 entrepreneurs each. One of the base requirements is that these entrepreneurs that do have products utilize or plan to utilize Hawaii grown, raised, or caught ingredients. And to date, these products include everything from soda to sausages to sea moss gel to locally harvested salt blends. So we had a nice range of products. Some of the big outcomes from the course at the end includes pitching their products to buyers from Chef Zone and Foodland. And a number of them are on the shelves at these stores, which is incredibly exciting. And participating in a showcase for public and media, and then headlining an event at Hawaii Food and Wine Festival. And that happened just a month ago. We're building out a program for spring 2024 that's meant to be a bridge to our college and early college students. We're working with our culinary department and Office of Workforce Development, basically to take the principles that you might find in a culinary class and start altering it to the value-added conversation. So this will be delivered to start on campus at Leeward Community College, and it's meant to be a bridge to our center in Waihua. So it's going to touch upon techniques, including pickling, charcuterie, pastry and confection. And a key feature of this course is we are working with 2 to 3 local farms to supply produce, ideally off-grade or excess produce for this course. So these students will be able to transform local ag into the next generation of viable value-added products. So again, being that educational bridge, not only just the entrepreneurs doing the work, but also inciting or inspiring the idea among our next wave of entrepreneurs is really a key component of what we want to do with the center. We're building out a certificate of completion track that'll be offered at the center. It's really meant to be a bridge to the larger community. With a center like ours, we have a lot of equipment and a lot of systems in place or being established that might not be for everyday use, right? This isn't meant to be a center that someone could come in and cater for their kid's birthday party, right? So we really want to be mindful of that and build programming that can help tease out value add, and ideally be the framework to, if someone were to step into these workshops and get inspired and want to explore things like I'm in Makeke later, this is meant to be the gateway to that. So we're doing a series of workshops on site. It's going to be led by center staff, so from our product development team, also partnered up with a local entrepreneur in each category to co-lead this course for community. And they'll be making and formulating their own version of shrubs or condiments or salts that they could take home. But ultimately, for those that participate in the entire track, they will qualify for a COC from Leeward. And so the idea of students, this is an education first facility, so we're trying to create as many student pathways into the center as possible. And this is one typical student use scenario. I mentioned Aina and Makeke being a flagship. So say an entrepreneur comes through Aina and Makeke, as another feature to Aina and Makeke is they'll get a 3-hour consultation with our product development specialist. And that's meant to be a pipeline into having them understand how they can step into the center, leverage some of the equipment to, reach their goals as far as scaling or, continue to build out their product line or improve their products. So after that, we have a onboarding course, PDC 101, that's meant to be just a baseline overview of operating in our center, talking about layout, food safety, food handling, safety hazards, and then they enter the 3-year incubator track. Well, they'll tap into other educational opportunities and workshops, but it's meant to be an accessible 3-year incubator that will be priced at a lower rate, that will slowly, incrementally ramp up across the years, and ultimately a student will graduate out. So it's meant to be that student pipeline where we could use it to also track progress, build student narratives, and identify what are our strengths and what are areas to improve on long term, right? So a requirement of this is a student do take the courses in the track, and if they don't, they will, they could opt out and they could just become a commercial user. And with that, a different rate, and we're still finalizing our rates through the university, and then ultimately they'll have to go through a more conventional student use, or sorry, a commercial use track with insurance requirements and everything. We will have on-site product development. You saw in the org chart, we'll have a team of 3 product developers when we're fully staffed. Consultation will start an hour. Our staff will be able to work with users in our kitchen or through teleconsulting to refine products, to ideate, to develop new products. We'll also offer product testing on site, which includes pH, water activity, bricks. We'll have nutrition fact panels. These are just services that have come up in the conversation that a lot of our prospective users are outsourcing to the mainland. So we really want to be able to support and alleviate that bottleneck for these needs. Use case, a Hawaiian vinegar company. They're actually a Waihewa-based company, so they're right in our backyard. I think very similar to what Gita does. They're really committed to working with farmers and growers and utilize and capture those off grades or things that are produced in excess. They do a line of value-added shrubs and vinegars, non-alcoholic, very kind of trend forward. They do work with farmers. They are hitting their processing capacity in their facility. They have a small retail storefront in Wahiawa, and then behind it, in a room the size of probably a large closet, they are manufacturing everything. So they have expressed interest in being able to step into the center and really start scaling, because they are currently building their wholesale accounts locally, and they want to keep growing, and they want to explore export, the potential for export. And also, they're a student. They've graduated our Aina and Makeke course. So I think they hit a lot of the points that come up in the conversation around what we were trying to do with the center. So we want to support that movement and support many more makers into the future. I think that's all I have. So I thank you for the opportunity to share, And I apologize if I talked a little fast, but looking forward to any questions. My contact info is down there. And yeah, thanks everyone.